Before we close out, I want to try throat singing for a second.
You want to do it all together, or you just want to?
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some training wheels.
Let's do it all together and not overwork. Let's put the mic a little back here.
Yeah. LeRome, welcome. Yeah, I met you at Gabriel's birthday party a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
At our birthday party. Dude, we were up till super late last night.
I know. I'm feeling it. You're living in Miami, South Florida. Yeah, here it goes again with that late night chat. And you're producing music. Before we hopped on, you showed me a song that's about men and women. Can you elaborate?
It's really nurturing the relationship with our mothers. So it's an appreciation song for all the mothers in the world.
Yeah.
And since my mother's in Switzerland and I'm always on my travels, it feels good to release something on her birthday that keeps us connected, where the distance, it doesn't matter. The connection is strong. It's like with this song, I'm always there at all times. And it's a song that any brother and any mother can listen to and feel connected to their child and to their mothers. So
it's amazing. Yeah. And it's a great song. I'm not just saying that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what I'd like to really dive into today, okay? When I first met you, you're talking about this transformational experience, a spiritual experience where you quote unquote went into the cave. And that's where you adopted throat singing. You felt called to do it. And you came out a different person.
Yeah.
The words that you used to describe who you became, I don't remember them, yet they were profound. I just remember saying, like, hearing and remembering clarity, empowerment, and focus. After that conversation, I said, well, this guy is locked in. But it took you to go through that dark cave to get there. So what ultimately led to that period of your life to where you disconnected?
In short, when the pandemic came in, I was like, man, let me get away from the city life. And I never chose to wear masks and fall into the fear pattern. Because coming from Switzerland and being raised in nature, it never made sense to me to be afraid of air. I was like, I just have to go on any mountain. I was in LA, and even there, I'm like, I know so many mountaintops where I know the air is amazing. Like, I cannot choose to be afraid of that lie. In my eyes, it was a lie. And of course, if you believed that lie, it became reality. So I had to honor that. Nobody did anything wrong. I just chose to be in nature. And the first couple of months I was still in LA, moving from friends' homes to friends' homes that weren't feeding that fear. And we just really explored nature together and had a lot of fun. Even created some illegal raves in a desert.
Good.
That, just to break that pattern of fear.
How'd you know you were afraid? How'd you know you said you pattern of fear. How'd you know you were afraid?
It wasn't my fear pattern, but it's a collective fear pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And to break that collective fear pattern, some of us have to reflect that, hey, you can go outside and you can meet with people and have fun. And we kind of did that, and we did get a lot of backlash. Yeah, we got some backlash, because it was in the middle of the, hey, no zone, but the Reunite events created the most amazing rave. And after, we got pretty much headlines of like, all around the world. People started creating their own community raves and gatherings. And that's where I feel like that fear pattern was fully broken. And even then, I was overwhelmed with just all the frequencies of the cities, because even though I stayed within a space of no fear and just honoring everyone's fear, I enjoyed the empty roads where I could just drive through LA and have no traffic whatsoever. It was a lot of fun. And then at one point I was like, let me find myself. And throughout those first few months, I learned about breath work. I dove into the ice baths. It really just,
How come you chose those outlets to find yourself?
they just came to me.
How so?
Well, the first, I would say the second or third week when the pandemic started, I ended up at a friend's home in Malibu that actually burnt down
Wow.
now, but I know he's rebuilding it, brother Eric Casano, and he's a big breathwork coach to a lot of the breathwork teachers out there, and he's an extremist reflection of us. So he does urine therapy as well to heal. He healed his cancer through urine therapy, and now he's an Amanita king in the States. But I ended up at his home, and within the 2 days of staying there, while everything else was shut down, he taught me the breath work, the Pasrika Pranayama, and I do with him often now, like where you breathe in 11 times and you hold the breath at the top and you just practice the bliss of that moment. So that, to me, that is a bliss practice, a practice of bliss, to stay present, to know that everything is fine. Ice bath, I did that as well, and even sun boofing.
Yeah.
The people call it butthole sunning, but I even, like, he told, like, I literally was meant to go there to see all these healing modalities that are available for humanity.
Yeah.
So I don't fall deep into that fear pattern, and that I ended up practicing the breath work every day and reprogrammed my mind to breathe consciously daily. And that went on for a couple of months, and then I fully decided to detach from LA and went to the Redwoods, and
Redwoods.
got me a trimming job in the middle of the Redwoods, got me a cabin for $100 a week, off-grid, right around redwood trees, no internet.
Yeah.
And
It's a hard thing to do.
it was for me, it wasn't even that hard. I know, like, I've been traveling into the unknown all my life, born in Memphis, Tennessee, growing up in Zurich, Switzerland, speaking German, and just even moving to America to follow my passion of singing. That's all unknown. Like, I've been moving into the unknown portals all my life. And that was the most challenging one. Just like leaving everything in LA behind to move to nature.
One extreme to another.
From one extreme to another.
Yeah.
And
What were you trying to get out of that experience?
well, full on detachment, like, and just not having to explain myself to anyone anymore. I was trying to,
Dang.
save people with my wisdom and like over project. But I was like, man, no, everybody's living their dream. I have nothing to explain and prove. So I detached from older versions of myself by making that move, and really found myself in the Redwoods. And I was really just staying in the Redwoods every day. I did, my practices from mantras to really also dove deep into the fear bodies by being in nature, in darkness, without any artificial lights. I would be in there, pitch black nights in the Redwoods, and would just feel whatever comes up. I had to learn how to cry again. I'm like, man, I'm a tough, masculine reflection. Like, I don't even remember when I cried last. Wow. So I had to relearn how to cry, relearn how to just release whatever was stuck in my body, and did a lot of scream therapy, a lot of mantra singings, and then after a couple of months
Excuse me, did you just say scream therapy?
scream therapy,
Very healthy.
I want to go off on a bit of a tangent here for just a second.
yes,
Being in Austin, I learn a new word nearly every day. I'm serious. I go on my Partiful app, Halo something breathwork.
Halogenic breath.
Halo, yeah, I learned that the other day. I said, oh, there's a new one. And now I learned scream therapy. It's wonderful.
yeah.
What does that look like? I'm curious.
That means, to me,
Yes.
you're at a place in nature, on a mountaintop, by the ocean, wherever you are, and you just scream until you can't anymore.
Yeah.
You release it all, and you will feel amazing after.
Yeah, something to add to that is when I did Bridge and Extreme, Alexi and Preston Smiles is a somatic workshop that they have here in Austin. They had us they had us do an exercise, but they're saying, hey, when you go home, every once in a while, just put a pillow on the ground, get in front of your couch, grab a frying pan, and just start whacking your couch. Eventually, you might not even be mad, but eventually stuff will come up, and it feels so fucking good to let that out.
Dang.
And you're just like stuff from years, like things you might have forgotten about, just come back. Like, why am I mad about this? And it's just your body, your mind, your soul wanting to finally, like, oh, I have a safe place to let this out. Let me let it out.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So how long were you in the woods?
I would say like 5 to 6 months.
Was that
I
enough?
was out there. It was definitely enough to unlock my throat singing, and I didn't go to the redwoods to learn how to throat sing.
No.
I just went there to be with myself, find myself, ground from all the stories that we feed as a humanity, and really just be within the bliss of nature.
So you're out there screaming at the top of a mountain,
Yeah.
and then you decided to throat sing.
Well, I was doing my daily mantras. I would just do my ohms, like so many people do, like om.
Oh, yeah.
And exactly, om. And then all of a sudden, I was doing a om after 3 to 4 months of breaking my voice, through the scream therapy and getting it back in silence because I was by myself, so I didn't speak to anyone. I was just I lost my voice, and I would gain it back. In the beginning, it would take a couple days, and then it got faster and faster. And then I was doing an om one day and literally sitting on a redwood tree that fell down. And I was just there within the redwoods. And then I did my om. And I was like, what the fuck was that? Yeah. and then I just
I got goosebumps.
went back to it. I went back to it and back to it. And in the beginning it was just, ooh. And just, I was so happy with just that one sound,
Yeah.
that I just dove deeper into it and deeper into it. And now I get to speak in it, like I can do sentences with it, mantras, like Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. And it feels good.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed since then, it just keeps expanding.
What's the origin of throat singing?
When I throat sing, it feels like there's a support system of brothers around the world, from the Tibetan mountains, Mongolia, the Aboriginal space, some Vikings, and even Africa. Like, there's just this global ancestral support that feels like it's coming through the throat singing.
Yeah.
To just share the frequencies with wherever you are.
What kind of feedback do you get from people when you do it around them for the first time?
It depends where you are. In some places where people
They get
are
scared.
still feeding the fear patterns in their lives, it brings forward.
Sounds dark, low.
Well, yeah, that's because the world is programmed to think that there is some type of darkness behind that sound.
Yeah.
But that's an illusion that people are feeding. What it's actually doing, it's bringing forth all the shadows and fears that you push down, and we literally go through the body and it releases. So of course they're gonna feel all of what they've been hiding away. So it's kind of like a shadow cleanser.
And sometimes when you do a sound bath, for example,
Yeah.
sometimes things like that come up for people during that experience as well.
Yeah.
You'll literally feel those emotions. It'll bring them out of you.
Or breath work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they're playing music. Like if they play they'll play specific music to kind of trigger some emotions.
Right.
Yeah.
The hour breathing, the rebirth breathing, that's a similar effect, but just like a longer process, but that releases a lot of stuff as well.
Mm.
But yeah, and then so in certain environments, it triggers the fuck out of people. They're like, get away. And then in other areas that where people are tuned in to the culture or like to the throat singing space, they're like, and kind of like enjoy the frequency of it.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. And I've also noticed it's a healthy contagion.
Yes.
So I
What is that?
when I met
What is a healthy contagion?
when I met Brethren at Burning Man,
Yes.
and you know, wherever I go, I do my throat singing. And then some brothers, it's about, I will say 4 to 5 brothers, including this brother right here, the throat singing has activated just by being around me. So if there's a part of you that has been releasing a lot of emotions, we're in tune, you know, with both feminine and masculine. We've just been doing a lot of the work. It comes out after a while, like it will come through. So for him, it's like second nature right now.
And it was interesting because I had watched him perform, and a part of me, like the inner child in me, was like, that sounds familiar. We used to kind of make sounds like that as a kid. And I used to do voices. I used to do like Robin Williams' voice, freaking Christopher Walken. I need more cowbell. and I was pretty on point, and I would always make these sounds with my throat. But then, you know, just life, trauma, all the things, you forget how to play, you forget how to have fun with your body in different ways. It's fun feeling. I have people now when I'm throat singing, they're like, "Can I touch your throat?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." They're like, "Whoa, this feels so cool."
Yeah, so
But,
we get trapped in a box over time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And so I hear him do his thing. I hear LeRome do his thing, and then I'm on some mushrooms later, and my most profound moments happen on the John.
You got the echo.
I was in the Porter John, you know, and I'm just like, re-listening, I'm like playing that moment back, and I was like, and then I'm just like, oh, I could do it too. And then I'm just singing in the Porter John, and then remembering all this childhood stuff that I'd forgotten about.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful. And then I don't even think I shared it with you at Burning Man. It was
after.
way after, yeah.
It was after that you shared it, and that's exactly what I call a healthy contagion. Just as much as fear's a contagion, love is as well. You know, and the throat singing comes from love, and it's a soul expanding tool. Whether people know it or not, it moves through you, and it removes what may be hidden. And if brothers and even sisters choose to want to dive deeper, it'll come over time, and there's no expectation to win. So I personally feel like every human is a natural singer, and throat singing is just a part of where you get to when you learn to release all the trauma, the emotions that we just push down. And so yeah, there's 2 brothers in LA that are throat singing now that didn't before. One brother in Costa Rica, and even from our Burning Man camp, it's another brother in Tyler Roy.
Oh yeah,
He's also throat singing now. So
and you at Aurea, we were doing that.
Yeah, so it's literally healthy contagion, and you know, and that's not something that really, you know, people may realize, but it just happens.
So let me ask you this, okay? You call it a vehicle. Well, I'm adding the word vehicle. It's a vehicle to move energy through the body.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's say, for example, I don't want to be a throat singer. I want to do something else. What are some other things that people typically could do that might be more suiting to them? That has a similar effect.
Just start with the ohms and the repeating a mantra every day. Like also at the same time as I was doing the breath work, I came across a mantra in one of my favorite books called Breaking the Death Habit, which is reprogramming our deathist mentality that's being shared on a daily.
What is that? What's a deathist mentality?
Well, you hear most of humanity speak about death. through wars, through our family members or brothers and sisters dying.
Yeah.
So we tend to prioritize that topic. We forget that we could also speak about immortality. But most people want to speak about death so much that we die faster in the body. We're immortal already, our soul is. But since we speak so much about death as a collective, it happens faster. And the less we speak about it and feed death so much, the other end is immortality. So why not speak about immortality more in the immortal stories? You know, of course, you know, it can be Jesus was an immortal that just was here to show us that you can, you know, go through death and rebirth. His grandmother, Anna, grandmama of Jesus, she was a couple 100 years old. You know, and Babaji, the book is mainly with messages from Babaji. He's an immortal yogi. And for instance, one of the God Maha mantras is Om Namaha Shivaya. And a lot of people may know this mantra. Om stands for infinite being, Namaha for infinite manifestation, and Shivaya for infinite intelligence. So even if you just repeat a mantra like that, or your favorite sentence that makes your soul happy, it can be anything that makes you happy, repeat it over and over in your daily rhythm. And the more you do that, you will cleanse your mind from intrusive thoughts that aren't serving your body and your soul.
How did you get this knowing that we're immortal? Where our souls are?
DMT.
Well, yeah, it's like a part remembrance. Plant medicines can help.
Yeah, plant medicine. Breathwork
You know.
helps. Yeah.
Along with breathing, people that aren't partaking in any medicines and the drug space, they can get to that level by just breathing for consciously to music, to their favorite music. Even if you just breathe to your favorite song every day, and you just breathe, and you do that for a couple of minutes alone, you'll already feel the effects of like, oh, this is expanding for my soul. And the mortal aspect just comes from everything that I've attracted into my life. Like I didn't really focus on immortality space until also the pandemic came. I had to move through that fear of death that was shared with the world. And I'm like, oh, I can feel what people that are dying because of the, you know, vaccines and all that. I can feel that if I stay in a city. I felt it. I'm like, oh, I feel it here. So I had to detach and go into nature that was holding space for me to not feed that feeling. And then the book, you know, the Breaking the Death Habit is really powerful. It's really sharing about, you know, removing the deathless mentality by doing spiritual purification practices. And one of them is breathing. The other, you know, swimming in lakes and oceans and ice baths, like once a day.
Really?
You know, just
Keep going.
fasting, doing maybe like a water fast every week, maybe one day first, and then you're moving on to like 3 to 7 days of water fasting to reprogram the DNA, just to fix the DNA structures. Writing down what's coming up to mind for, you know, no matter if it's dark or not, just keep writing it down until it starts to only become positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many spiritual purification practices that
There really are.
and they're so normalized now. I mean, even from the yoga world, like stretching is a part of a spiritual purification process. The more flexible we are, the longer we stay young in the body. Age doesn't matter.
Right.
It's just about how flexible are you. Because the more flexible we are, the longer we can stay here and not complain. Like,
Yeah.
so you know, so it's all here for us, and
Sometimes I make that noise before bed.
it's yeah, my back. Oh, it's all it's a cosmic joke what we are moving through as humanity, and we all know we're actually just one big family. Just continuously killing each other until we realize we're the same. And we get to choose to understand that or not. And then we keep repeating the same old story, same old history, you know. And now I think humanity's at a point where we're tired of that.
Let's take a quick moment to shout out the people making big moves in real estate, the elite residential group at Keller Williams Realty. With over 90 million in sales volume and more than 300 families helped, they're one of the top real estate teams in Central Texas for a reason. Whether you're buying, selling, or just figuring out your next step, they make the process simple and centered around your priorities.
Greg and his small team have been absolutely crushing the Austin real estate market, producing incredible numbers.
He is always responsive, he's always on point, he never misses anything.
I would highly recommend him for anybody looking to buy or sell in the Austin, Texas area.
Hit the link in the description to book your free consultation.
We want to just be one
Yeah,
big
community.
family that understands
Community is so desired. I mean,
understands each other.
last night's party was a perfect example of that. Aurea was a perfect example of that. People, of the separation from COVID and the pandemic and the snapback of the rubber band. Like, man, being alone sucks. Like, I can't. I can create things alone. I can do things alone. But how much longer does that take if I can just collaborate with people that are in their zone of genius that's different than my zone of genius? And it is like this beautiful flower of life, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So let's paint a picture for everybody, shall we? I think y'all are going to enjoy this exercise, okay? You do the breath work. You do the screaming at the top of the mountain. You do the yoga. You stretch. You do the red light therapy. The list goes on, okay?
Yeah.
You write your stuff out. Okay. So there's a goal here. How would you encapsulate what that goal is by doing all of those things? What are we going towards? What is that?
It's really, for me, it's about living my dream day habitual pattern every day, no matter where I am.
How do you know you're doing that?
We all have our passions. So are you focusing on your passions even amidst the working world, the having to feed your family world, and then just squeezing in a little bit more every day, no matter where you are in this world? And I think that's from my experience. The more you get to live your dream day habitual pattern, the more people will attract what they came here to attract in this lifetime.
Do you think everybody knows what they came here to attract in this lifetime?
No.
No, but
you-
it's
you figure that
found
out.
when it
Yeah.
happens. It will happen naturally, and some people may not find it in this lifetime and maybe the next.
Yeah.
But it's really about, taking a leap of faith into the unknown and really doing everything you're speaking about.
Do you think there's a way to reverse engineer this process? Start with the end in mind and walk backwards? Do you think? Because, I could do red light therapy. I can breathe real fast. I can learn the throats thing, right?
Yeah.
Not sure which one's going to be the most helpful.
Well,
So I'm
it's,
wondering, instead of trying all these different things,
Yeah.
is it possible to start with the end in mind and work our way backwards?
Well, I believe it's about really staying present and not thinking too far ahead.
Oh,
You're
Presence.
The
because
present moment is unknown.
Yeah,
You're truly living in it.
we're already here. Again, everybody is living their dream right now. It's just for us to notice it.
yeah, but what makes it their dream? Because, there's some people out there that can barely keep a loaf of bread on the table. So,
Yeah.
so how can we say that they're living their dream if they're struggling every day?
It's looking at their old patterns, programming, and
We're going deep.
for me,
Yeah.
I hit rock bottom 3 times, but it wasn't until that last third time where I had a gun in my hand and I was just like, I'm ready to end this, that I just couldn't, because it's just so finite, and then amazing things opened up for me and brought me here now, living in Austin, staying fired up with Greg Carlson.
Stay fired up.
Podcast.
So if the higher power, right? We can say God, we can say Jesus, we could say whatever we all like to choose, yeah? Or to write the picture perfect story of the human life, a winning story. How would they write it? What would it look like? In short form, of course.
Everybody's version of winning is different. You know,
Exactly.
you have some people that are happy being a firefighter, making whatever they make because they really enjoy helping people, or they have like, subconsciously they just really love fire and damage, all that. But and that's their purpose. My purpose is I really love supporting people. I love connecting people. Your purpose is activation through voice and connection, and your purpose is bringing people together and asking them awesome questions and sharing their information with the world. So what can you do to get out of your own way to find your purpose? And kind of backtracking, you need to try a bunch of different things. I had to experiment on myself for the last 3 years to find what worked for me. I did a bunch of plant medicines. I did a bunch of biohacking. I did a bunch of therapies. And out of like the 50 things I tried, I found 10 solid things. And then I found other 10 that I would do here and there, like ayahuasca and bufo. That's something that I'll always do for the rest of my life, but very sparingly. I meet people that are like, I do it like 3 to 4 times a year. I'm like, that's cool, but do you need to, and what are you getting out of that?
Yeah, and what I'm hearing you say is that if you start looking for the answers, you're eventually going to find them.
Yeah.
I think
Or
it all
they'll find
boils down
you.
to what kind of answers you're looking for.
They can also find you because the moment I got out of my own way and said yes to God, to life, to the universe, whatever you want to call it, opportunity. I mean, a buddy paid for my bufo, and then I got invited to an ayahuasca trip for free. That I didn't ask for any of this. It just happened. I showed up as myself. They saw my potential. They saw my heart. They saw me, and they wanted to invest in that and give from a giving place of their heart.
Yeah. It's being open for blissful surprises wherever you go, and really speaking to your inner child. Like, what did I love when I grew up?
Yeah.
And a lot of people put that away to be, go into the financial abundance space. Or what is it really that you wanted to do as a kid? And as long as you love what you're doing, then you're doing exactly the right thing. And yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to our mutual friend, Mr. Ryan Humphreys, a couple of weeks ago. Okay. We had some couch side chat. And he goes, Greg, I think at the end of the day, people just want to feel good. What's the recipe to feeling good, guys? What is it?
Trying a bunch of things and seeing what lands. I mean, how do you don't know what you don't know.
There's a few aspects of it.
I thought alcohol was my thing for a long time, but really, no, it was just a deep sense of using that as a way to escape my feelings, a way to drown out how, the inner child in me. And it was programming of every party alcohol was involved from childhood till even now. And birthday parties, baby showers, alcohol was always prevalent. My dad always smelled like alcohol. So as a baby, I'm smelling his, the alcohol coming from the pores, and all this programming I'm not realizing I'm getting is happening to me.
Yeah.
And then it's not till later on that, that you get certain tools or you get a certain therapy that you've tried that's like, oh, that wasn't yours. You're carrying somebody else's story. My dad was an alcoholic, and his dad died from alcoholism, and I'm not sure about his dad's dad, but it kept getting passed down, and I'm so thankful that it's broken here.
Yeah.
I don't have kids yet, and if and when I do, at least they won't have that pattern that I had, at least for me growing up.
Yeah.
So, we're covering a lot of ground here, and I'm learning even more. I'm not surprised. It's really good. You've got a mission, don't you? How clearly defined is that mission?
The mission is to uplift humanity from the shadow slumber by sharing the bliss with the art of breath, music, and movement, in short.
Music.
Yes.
Yeah, you can say that again. Last night, LeRome, Gabriel and I were at this party. And then LeRome...
I don't even think we can call it a party. That was like a movement. I don't know what that was.
It's powerful.
That energy. was beyond. Yes. And we're on the dance floor. LeRome says, man, I'm really excited. I said, why is that? He said, well, I get to do a DJ set in about an hour and a half. I said, oh, shoot. Let's go. And you not only produce music, I'm talking YouTube music videos. Pro quality. Amazing.
Thank you.
What's your YouTube channel?
LeRome Swiss. LeRomeSwiss.
Yeah, and we'll put that down in the description as well.
What of Infinite Hearts?
Infinite Heart is my DJ duo with my fiance Luna, and we just started that channel. We have 2 music videos thus far. So the LeRome Swiss side is the soul music, urban music, and I moved into the electronic stage. And then what I have with my fiance's Infinite Heart is like a mixture of it all with a spiritual twist. So you get to see all the versions of me that I moved through. And again, I can always say I've been there, done that. I went through so many stages in life, so you can see it all through those music videos. You know, the versions of me until now. So yeah, I'm just here to share the magic through music and activate people along the journey. And we also get to really get people to learn, like to embrace the art of dance while receiving the codes. So,
Well done on the DJ set.
Thank you.
To say the least.
Thank you.
That was fired up, bro.
We'll have to get clips from
Richie Bricks.
And
Yeah.
have
I
it.
don't even want to see those clips.
Have it
I was
cooked
dancing
up.
my face off. I don't think I ever danced that hard for that long.
That was
That's
my
what
rave. That was my rave body. Like what I shared last night, actually, I didn't really ever get to share online yet. I learned most of my shadow work through the art of raving in Switzerland and just dancing for days.
Yeah.
So I created, I know the way I opened was a original creation I produced over 10 years ago. And 10 years later, I get to open up a set with it. So it was a magical experience too for me. It was like moving through a threshold into my proper DJ body. Before, like when I get on stage with my goddess Luna, she usually DJs more, and I just on the microphone sharing the codes through my voice. And now we get to go back to back. Now that I went through that threshold last night, I get to share that rave version of me more with other DJ brothers and sisters that I know. So it's threshold breaking times that we're in.
But there's so much power to what you do, because then it creates that safe space for people to move their body in whatever way they're hearing the music.
Yes.
Like you were high energy, moving, dancing.
you were.
I loved it. I fucking loved it.
With the mask on.
And nobody cared. Nobody was judging you. Nobody was laughing. Everybody was in their own vibe, their own hearing the music however they were hearing it.
Yep.
And you're moving energy, you're moving maybe old programming out, you're working out the muscles, and you're to sound that has a frequency, and we're atoms that are vibrating, and you're able to retune yourself to know that you're safe to be yourself because of what you're providing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Creating the space.
Yeah. Safe container. Yeah.
And I mean, again, I moved through soul stage. I learned English in Atlanta. I grew up speaking Swiss German and French in Switzerland before learning English in ATL. Went through my soul and urban stages. The electronic stage I gained in going back to Switzerland and then to LA. And really the progressive trance that I'm sharing, it's also called Goa. In a lot of, really outside of America, a lot of people call it Goa. It's that type of style of music is more prominent in countries like Brazil, Germany, India, and Switzerland. And to be able to bring it more and more into America is huge, because it's also has a sense of intensity in there, where it's also like, oh, what's that what I'm feeling? So it's an invitation to move through what may not feel good to you move through it until you get to that blissful, like, fuck yes, that sacred yes. And you get to move through those things also on the dance floor. So there's another modality, going to raves, but actually focusing on dancing instead of everything else that's so predictable. The predictable patterns, the predictable patterns, I love to just respectfully ignore them and just focus on what I'm here to do, and it's dancing and breathing while dancing and just moving through it all.
It's like the music moves you.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can't control it.
Yeah.
I think the more you try to control it, the less it works. Yeah. What are you smiling about over there?
I got to witness Greg Carlson in all of his glory, and I loved it. This guy played full out, just was in it, and it was beautiful. It was great.
Dance is my thing.
Yeah.
Ever since I was a kid.
Nice.
Yeah, I made a post about it a couple of days ago. My aunt, I would go to a barbershop growing up. She cut my hair. And then she had this, like, 80s top hit soundtrack. So she'd put it on for me. And I would go, oh, snap. She goes, you want to learn how to dance? I was like, sure. She goes, all right, try this move. So I try it. She goes, great job, Gregory. Now try this move. And I try it. She goes, great job. And then every time I go to a barbershop, put on that same CD and jam out. Or from then it was a rap.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Actually reminds me of a story. You guys know what gothic raves are? Think about like the quote unquote goth, how they have
Like
black
the
nails,
Matrix-y vibes.
Matrixy vibes, black everything.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely seen videos of that before.
Yeah, well, you know, somebody in high school might have been dressed like that. Okay, black nails, whatever. Well, magnify that times 10. These people had like spikes on their shoulders and all this stuff like that, right? Yeah, and it was a whole room full of people dressed this way. Yeah. Well, my buddy, he said, Greg, we're going to go to a party tonight in downtown Chicago. So I'm a preppy baseball player kid. I'm wearing a light blue V-neck, white sneakers, and tight jeans. He just said a party.
He should have warned you a little bit.
Dude,
No, this
warning.
needed to happen.
So I get in there. And I said, what in the heck is this? I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go have a good time.
Yeah.
And I started tearing it up for hours. And people were like, yeah, bro. I like your vibe, bro. Because to your point, you know, you get out there, you eliminate all the other stuff. You do what you're there to do. And it's dance.
Well, and then anybody that would, you know, maybe laugh at you for being different, dressed different, or how you're moving your body, that's really just a mirror. Like, if you put a mirror in front of that person, they're really just talking to themselves, because that's their uncomfortability. That they can't, they needed to dress up like everybody else to fit in, when you came in not dressed like everybody else, and you still were like, fuck it, I'm just gonna dance, I'm gonna have a good time. I don't care what anybody else is worried about.
I hope Nico clips out what you just said and puts it up. That was really good.
Yeah.
That was good. Thanks for sharing that, man. So you've got the vision. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Other than music, how else do you share the light, so to speak? That's your main outlet, it seems like.
Yeah. I will say, you know, part of my habitual dream day pattern is nature. So I would just explore nature. It's a part of me. Wherever I go in the world, wherever I travel to, I always find a really blissful nature spot.
Yeah.
And really just embracing this earth, kind of living in my tourist body wherever I go. So that's something I'm even a tourist when I go back to Switzerland.
A learning book.
Wherever I go, I'm within my tourist body, and I go explore. Like, the explorer in me just wants to keep exploring. That is a huge part that I know, that just reflecting how to enjoy this planet at all times, no matter where you are.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
We're only here in this body for a fleeting moment. When you zoom out and look at how, you know, life.
Yeah. In any city where people are like, man, I don't want to be here, I'll go to that city and I will find the most blissful little area. And I'll just feel like, life is great, you know?
Yes.
So it's in every single place around the world. There's some beautiful locations that may be 15 to a half hour away. you can get to.
And if you're really in a place that you can't find that, if you don't have your eyes open, meditate. Close your eyes and create that reality you desire, and the universe, God will give you what you ask for if you get out of your way.
Yes, and another part is I'm learning to give back more as well by calling in the support of like nonprofits to help the children around the world. We have a brother, Clint Rogers. He's he's helping so many children in Nepal. Cosmic Clint. And so that's what I'm calling in to just be able to funnel whatever income I have, like 5 to 10% to nonprofits that I believe in. And that's another form of sharing the light, because we're meant to come here, expand, and then give back.
And one more thing. I also think, from the outside looking in, that you share the light with your ability to be present, which I think is also a gift. Because sometimes people have a hard time being still.
Stoicism.
And that stillness puts other people at ease.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever told you that? Maybe not exactly that.
Well, I'm learning a lot of my being. Like, I've learned from different brothers and sisters that came into my life. So there was a part of me, there's places where people haven't seen the version of me that was present all the time. I was like, I would fall into each distraction possible. Like, I can truly say I've been there, done that in so many ways and situations. So I moved through so many chapters in life where I wasn't present. And it just eventually, I really started loving the practice of presence. And to me, presence is bliss as well. So it's really the practice of bliss. That presence became a passion. So since I can continuously do it for myself when I'm around people and I'm being asked to share, then I can drop into presence with you. And for instance, do a breath work while gazing into your eyes. And within a couple of seconds, everything, all the thoughts that are in the way, they get removed. So I think it's a nice tool. So I'm just sharing what I've absorbed along my journey. And I just kept a little bit of ATL, a little bit of Switzerland, a little bit of LA, now a little bit of South Florida, a little bit of Costa Rica, and in Austin, Texas, and I just squeeze it into one portal of information that I get to share in my way of being. And it's I don't think too much about it. I just practice my spiritual purification tools, and it just happens naturally.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm sure it took work to get there, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go off into the woods for a couple months.
Yeah, and again, man, I've been there, done that, so nobody's doing anything wrong. I just can't repeat it enough. You are living your dream right now. You're not doing anything wrong. We're here to learn. We're here to apply these lessons to the loops that you're in, or not. And if not, you may learn that lesson from somebody else. And then you get to apply what you learned, or not. And then you keep going in a loop until you choose yourself to move out of where you are now. But in this very moment, you are living your dreams. We are living our dreams together in this world. And the more we become aware of that, we can start giving back into all of our communities worldwide and all of our families. And our families, those are the biggest teachers. Like our blood family, that's really the biggest teacher, to be able to communicate this in this way with our parents, with our siblings. And I'm still learning so much every day. So it's a ongoing practice.
Yeah.
Yes.
That kind of just presented itself to you, like we talked about earlier. One day you found yourself in Malibu for 2 days.
Yep.
And this guy showed you all this cool stuff.
Yep.
You said, "What's this?" And then bang, got the lessons. Some of them.
And I really, I've learned to notice when there are lessons coming in, and I enjoy applying what I'm learning from my friends and from my soul family that I come across. I learned so much from so many different women to get to even notice my goddess Luna. And now I get to learn from my goddess every day when I'm with her, and she can learn from me, and we can step back and be like, okay, what else is there to learn together? And it's a beautiful journey.
Yeah. It's fired up, dude.
Yeah.
Big time. Wow. Wisdom.
Thank you, life.
Yeah, thank you, life.
And it always feels like just another beginning. So I feel like I'm just getting started. So
It's just the beginning. Before we close out, I want to try throat singing for a second.
you want to do it all together, or you just want to?
Yeah, it would be nice to have some training wheels.
Let's
do it all
let's do
together.
it all together and not over. Let's put the mic a little back here.
Yeah.
So it is.
Oh, so it will be.
That was good. Thank you for these assistants.
Thank you, brother.
That's too. God, that was precious.
Happy blessings to you all.
Happy blessings.
Yeah. Till next time, everybody. I'm your host, the Elite League Podcast. LeRome, you certainly embody the ideal guest here. You bring on people that are experts in their craft, that shed the light in the dark, that aim for increased excellence. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Make sure to
Appreciate you.
follow LeRome on YouTube and Instagram at
LeRome Swiss. Spotify, I have up to 50 to 60 songs you can enjoy. And Infinite Heart.
That's 2 eyes, right?
With 2 eyes for Instagram, but for Spotify, just Infinite Heart. And you'll find it. And yeah, tune into the magic. Tune into all the versions of me. And yeah, let's do this together. We're here to co-create together.
That's right. Time to fire it up.
Time to fire it up.
Together. That's it. Till next time, everybody, make sure you hit that thumbs up, smash that subscribe, and most importantly, stay fired up.